there has been, at least I remember from Miss Taylor and Miss Crossdale, you have had influences in your life that brought you into your respective traditions. However, the reality is a lot of our youth here in our audience today might not have that. So what can you say to them in terms of how they're able to go about learning more and how they're able to figure out which tradition is best for them? How are they able to improve their spirituality? What can they do?
What can you do? Experience it yourself. Ask questions. Try to, if it's that you grow up hearing that, oh, people are over their head over here, try to find someone or try to find that symbol of the persons that rub their head, why they rub their head. Try to get more clarity. So reach out to, if you want to learn about Rastafari, go to Nyabingi. No? Go to Nyabingi. You want to learn about revivalism and Kumina because we are under the same umbrella. Come to a Zion church. Come one Sunday and have a seat and try to learn. And then afterwards now you can ask questions. Why did you march around the table? Why did you raise the walls? Why did you trouble the water? Why did you dance with the system? So it's all about experiencing stuff yourself. Don't go off of hearsay. Because if I follow what people had to say, then I would leave the faith long time. But because of experience and because of what I'm determined to learn. Because in high school we do learn about these various denominations, revivalism, right. We do learn about the surface level of every denomination. And if based on the conversation of the panels, I realized that Rastafari is not different from revival. It's just that we have different levels in it. And we have different pathways in it. So students, if you want to learn, find a revival church and go. Find a Rastafari community and go have a seat and try to learn for yourself instead of assuming or your ears say, your mother say, your father say, your cousin, your auntie say, but experiencing the whole movement for yourself.
All right, thank you for that. Thank you so much. Students, I hope you got that. Do you, Ms. Taylor and Ms. Croswell, do you have any inputs on that point? Is there anything that you can say specifically regarding your tradition that would help the audience to learn more?
So what I always say is that people are afraid of what they don't know. And knowledge, some would say it's a big word, but it's very important. Knowledge is power, and it's very important. And we find that if you don't know something, then yes, you're going to be one, you're probably going to be afraid of it. Two, you're going to want to shun it if you don't know about it. And we find that when you allow yourself to know things, then you even broaden your experience in certain things. For me, I had a classmate, she was a part of Rastafari. Also, my father's side of family, all Rastafari. So for me, it's always been, I've always realized that I would be on some path to growing my spirituality, whether it's over Rastafari or in revival, because we are spiritual beings. And once you identify yourself as a spiritual being, then you're going to want to find the ways and the means to nurture it, to sustain it. As Pastor Harris said, you have levels. You have grade when you're at high school. For me, when you do well, if you get straight A's in first form, when you're going into second form, they put you in something that is called the honors class. So you want to get that knowledge, and so we find that now in today's society there are ways and means to get this. We have different movements that are having seminars, go and be a part of it. Sign up. You have different movements that they're allowing now for audiences to come in. I'm not sure if that is something for us afar, but I know that for revivalism, we have something every year that is called Revival Time. It is held at Ronnie Williams Entertainment Center in October, where all the revival churches across Jamaica, so it's not in Kingston and St. Andrew only, but we extend an invitation for all of the revival churches across Jamaica to come and do fellowship with one another. And we also allow for outside persons to come to be a part of the worship. As I will express what Shane said, find a revival church. I realized that in a lot of communities, there's probably 1, 2, 3 in every parish in Jamaica. There is a Rastafari, I don't know what you call it, sanctuary? Tabernacle on Oxford Street in my community. Yes, there is one on Oxford Street. And when I'm passing there, when I was going to high school, I always stop because I forget my cane juice right there, so I'm not going nowhere else to get my cane juice, but there. And so I remember when I was in high school, I was saying, all right, I want to know more about it. So I stopped and I asked a few questions, and the person, he was so open to answering, and I realized that other persons, remember these people live on the street, but they never once go. And when I stopped, I saw that some other persons were coming and they started to ask questions. So persons are there to give the information, and just allow yourself to want to know, because if you don't want to know, you're not going to. So once you have that zeal and that passion to want to know, I think you should at least try.
What I have to add to that, first and foremost, that full of the plate already, or the bash, as we would tip out that. So, what I would say to my youth, and I have to be real, I'm going to skip over the first couple of rows. Just delete the things that aren't serving your spirituality. And I am open for read up anything that is not serving your spirituality right now, because there's a lot of things in our Netflix history, in our browsers, in our the tools that we use every day. Utilize them to learn the same way. The same Naya Bingi albums are on YouTube, instead of watching Hollywood movies that nurture other spirits, because it's spirit same way, right? So the spirit of homosexuality need not be here. The spirit of confusion need not be here. The spirit of lack need not be here. The spirit of anything not serving. And this is not of judgment, this is of observation. So the observation is to say, do I love this? Right? Do I love this? And it is also forgiving as youth, right? We're in high school, we go through it. We're acting out roles. Sometimes we don't even know that it's a program, right? So you have to be forgiving with yourself. You have to be nurturing with yourself. You have to be spiritual. So you spy on yourself and peeking. You good? How are you feeling? Are you breathing? Okay. What did you eat today? Get nothing warm. Think about these little things, and then say, well, my Rasta friend, them skin are glowing. Like, can I have some of that shea butter? So start tapping in and focus on yourself, and then add what my other panelists have shared. Read more, visit spaces that inspire you, and just cut out the things not serving you. Right? Keep that.
All right, so I think we have had a lot. I for sure have learned a lot. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences. And we have a lot of students in the room. You especially are our target, because retention needs to begin with youth. Retention depends on generations, and therefore you all have a role to play. So I am now opening the floor to any questions that you may have to give to any or all of our panelists. Don't all chime in at once, one at a time. Yes. Is we're coming to you with the mic. Good morning. I wanted to ask, as it relates to Rastafari, what Naya Bingi is. I'm not quite clear on that.
So Naya Bingi is sound healing, right? Naya Bingi is the name also of an empress that lived, and when it comes towards the sound healing, it is the utilization of drums. We prefer not to use goat skin drums. We love Ital. Yes. And this little one loves Naya Bingi. So as we're talking about it, it is just as we offer a fire. Oh, you want to tell them what Naya Bingi is? Alright, pardon me. So this is just what it is like within the Nairobi community with my son, Okoro. We also call him Shango. We are there sipping up Ital food. We are experiencing the nurturing of spirit as a community. So imagine more of this love being there. Warm fire, we have water, we have earth offerings, we have air, which is the sound. And the chants are so beautiful. Once you elevate to levels, which is vibration, you realize that you start to see more of spirit, hear more of spirit, feel more of spirit. So it's sensuality and spirituality in the same pool. Is beautiful.
Thank you for that. I also realized you have a mic.
Okay, so if for everyone who has a question, if you could just come line up by the mic, please. Thank you.
All right, I'm seeing persons are coming towards the mic. It looks like we have a lot of promise for attention. And I must interject to say thank you for coming to this forum, because this is one of the first steps that you can take towards learning. And this is another step by asking questions. So thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have two questions.
So can I have silence, please? We need to hear the questions.
Okay, so I have two questions. First for Mr. Harris. Why did you say the candle was used when playing the Kumina drum?
Repeat.
Why is the candle used when playing the Kumina drum?
Oh, the candles. We light the light because the scripture reminds us that we don't walk in darkness. So we have the light to shed a light to see where we're going, because you cannot walk in darkness. So you have to have some kind of light to see where you're going, to see what you're playing, to see what you're moving to see what you're receiving. So yes, the light, the candle is just the light to guide us.
And the second question, so how do you know if the food is ital or not?
First of all, you don't know if the food is ital by tasting, so don't just go around tasting. Second of all, you ask the preparers of the meal, not only if it's just ital food, meaning it's plant-based, right? Because you have vegan food out there that is just wholly processed things like, to each his own, but soy is a bean that goes through a lot of process to make it to tofu or chunks. So having a plant-based baby, these are the same things I tell him. Ask questions. And not only ask questions, feel when you receive the answers. If it is that you see somebody that make the food and them just aggressive, them energy just don't feel like something you'd want to receive. Food is intimate. Right? That's content in a bottle, you know? That's just like a media budget. So ask questions, feel the energy of the food, know that ital food is plant-based, very little oil, very little salt, very little added processed food. So even cooking is a process. So I still have cooked meals now and then, but we do a lot of fasting to eat uncooked meals. My kingman here, part of the Rastafari community, he hasn't had cooked food in like 6 months. Yeah, so I know others like Profi, search I Never Knew TV on YouTube, and he will tell you a lot about ital food. He hasn't had cooked food in 40 years or more. And he plays beautifully with Naibingi band called Profi and the Fire King. So search up and learn more.
Alright, go ahead.
Alright, before I ask my question, first I would like to say good morning, fellow panelists, students of different schools, and persons who are here. Good morning. So, Missionary Crosby.
Yeah.
I have a question. I know in the revivalism denomination of Christianity that the turbans, I'm not sure, that the color has a specific meaning and significance in the denomination. So I would wonder, you don't have to go into much detail, but can you tell me what the different colors of the turbans signify in the denomination?
Alright, so thank you for that question. So for green, we would align it with prosperity. Some align it with money, but I try to align mine with prosperity. That's green. For white, purity. So for blue, healing. Also love. For red, it's war. So if you see someone in full red, they're probably on a war message. We call it probably a war message. Some say some is love, but for some it's war. For khaki, as stated before, learning in a school room. For gold, it's royalty. Also purple represents royalty. Which other color am I missing? Am I missing any color? Black. Strength. Yes, thank you. Black is strength. If you see someone loaded with full black, it's strength. So it will mean, for me, when I'm wearing black on my head, I was going to wear full black, but I said, alright, I don't want to scare them. Yes. So for me, when I'm in my black turban, sometimes I'm feeling a little weak. And so I rely on it to when I go down in prayer, I say, alright, God, I represent and have this on my head. I want a little strength. I want you to pour down some strength on me. So that's what black is for. I don't know if I'm missing. Is there any other color you do? No? Okay. White, what is purity? Yellow could be gold. So it goes with purple to stand for loyalty. Yes.
I have a next question, and this is just a general question for the panel. I know that in modern day society that many teenagers tend to not gravitate to religious aspects of certain religions, Christianity, Rastafari, I don't want to say anything, Rastafari, and other indigenous religions in the Caribbean. Therefore, what are the methods you use to attract teenagers? Because it's very hard as well. The media,
Yes. Yes.
So what things or tools do you use to incorporate teenagers, especially in the urban and rural areas of the country, to get to know the religion and get to love it for themselves?
Right.
Because you cannot force them. You have to make them love it. You come on their own terms. So what are the things you use?
Thank you for that question also. I want to kind of piggyback on what our sister here said. She brought forth a good point. This is social media. As much as it is good, it can sometimes be misleading. And so we should really be careful of the things that we put into ourselves, what we read. The mind is very powerful. So the things that you allow to come in your mind, we need to be careful of that. That's one. Two, for me, in my community, for my youth department that I'm a part of, the MCR and Youth Ambassadors, we do drives, so we do walks in our community. We know that a lot of the young people in my community, they're afraid to come. So when they're passing the church is on the the left, and they walk on the right. So what we do sometimes when we're having our youth meetings, we don't go inside, we lock the church door and we set up and we have the youth meeting outside. And you find that sometimes you have persons when they're passing, they come and they say, can I get a chair? And then come and then draw a chair. That's one thing that we do. So we try to engage them by going to them. Because you can't always think that persons are going to come to you, because sometimes they are afraid. So we try to meet them halfway. So one thing that we've recently done is a walk in our community, and we were successful. We had 5 young men come in and they came to youth meeting. The following Saturday they came to Bible study, and the other Saturday they came to church. We have our TikTok pages. We have a lot of different TikTok pages in revivalism. One that I can ask you to follow is Revival Things. I don't know if you know that one, Pastor Harris. Revival Things. That's one. We have our Archbishop Riley Christie. His page is on Facebook. The younger people don't really use Facebook, but it's a source. Also, Revival Time Music Festival. The page, it goes to different churches across Jamaica, whether they're having a table, whether they're having a fasting. And so you can go on the page and try to see the things that are happening. But I'd say if you see somebody coming to you, so if you see like a group of persons looking at me coming to you with a head tie, probably don't have on no heels, we probably have on sneakers and socks, and we probably have on a pleated dress and a cord around our belt. So we're not going to always look like this. No, we wear uniforms and we often wear pleats. If we come to you and we're having a little conversation, don't run away, just this is what we have to say, because I assure you it will be meaningful. Also, one more thing that is key in the revival faith is a place we call Watown. It has first quarter, second quarter. So the next quarter is going to be March 7th or 8th, I believe, 7th. It's in St. Anne. So I don't know if anyone after this wants to speak with Dr. Kurt Henry. I think he has more information on it. But Watown is where revival people go quarterly to feed their spirit, feed their spirituality, get a little bit stronger. So we go on the sea, and you have some churches that spend a little more time than some other churches. And when session is keeping inside, you have some churches drilling the bands on the outside. And so also, I don't know if anyone mentioned it, if Pastor Harris mentioned it, but in the revival church, we do something that is called drilling the bands. We find that we groan, we stamp our feet, we smite with our hands. It's nothing to be afraid of. It is in the Bible where we stamp to get down the enemy. We smite with our feet to clear the way, and we groan with our voices. So that is something else that we actually do. So yes, I'm encouraging persons who are interested to find out information and come to Watown. It's a great experience.
All right, before we move on, yes, applause. So before we move on, a quick announcement. So I see that there's 3 persons here with questions. Unfortunately, with comments, okay. Unfortunately, these will be the last that we'll be taking in the interest of time, because as was stated earlier, we do have a special item. And so we want to accommodate that. So in the interest of time, these will be the last 3 that we'll be taking, but thank you so much for your interest. So allowing the discussion to proceed, did any of our panelists have anything to add, or do we move to the next question?
Next question.
All right, okay.
No, please. I'm certainly not young.
This is for everyone.
You said you have a comment, but the question might take longer.
That's all right. Time is not my problem. We have a lot of minutes.
Good morning. This is for Safari. I would like to know how you view your locks, and also how you view persons that get the lock style just for style and not for religious reasons.
I have a feeling that we're about to hear it.
Wow. And that's exactly why I wear my turban open today. It's normally closed, looking as beautiful as my sisters here. But I wore it open so you could see my locks, right? So when it comes to first why we adorn ourselves with our crown, it's similar to in revival. It's to protect also the hair follicles itself, because we're very sensitive as spiritual beings,
Yes.
very sensual. So protection first and foremost. When you moisturize your hair, especially my natural girlies, you wear a bonnet. That's one. Two, it's your antenna. Remember we said that everything vibrates. So just like how I'm speaking, it's being received through the microphone and then here it amplified through the speakers. They're receiving signals. So your locks receive signals, just like your hair follicles overall. The locks more, I would say they're commitments. Alright? So Mike Man Carbon on YouTube, you can definitely check out his music, Karbon. He has a beautiful song talking about Kingstown. It's the masculine reflection of the responsibility of the locks. Remember, it vibrates, so it comes with a lot of power. Just like how these are electric devices, it comes with a lot of power. So with great power is great responsibility. So for the ones that are wearing it as style, they may dye their locks, they may groom it a little more often, they may wear it out so others can see the beauty of it, they may play it a little more, no judgment to them. However, it loses a lot of its power. The bleaching, the dyeing, this is a living thing. So we are living beings. So do your best to cultivate, even in sharing the beauty with others, as I've done here. Have intention with the responsibility that comes with your locks, because others are seeing you. And they won't just assume that, oh, it's style. They'll look up to you. Rastafari is a moment, I would say, in every moment is an experience to share, just as we're doing here. On the road, out here, yeah, Muslim, you know, yeah, Rasta. And I often answer yes to everything, right? Because I'm spiritual, and I say I am. That's the affirmation. So look into locking up, you know.
Another question I have is just for the general panelists. How do you how do you react to the negative connotations and closed-minded beliefs persons have towards your beliefs, like your religion?
Yeah, let me just interject first. This question only given to one panelist in the interest of time. So, any takers?
You want it?
Okay.
How do we actually react to the negative comments? For me, I like to educate people about my faith, because I don't want you to be running off with the wrong concept of my faith. So if someone says, oh, go here, or go where me here say this and that in your faith or in your religion, I will then call them and talk to them nicely and say, all right, you have this, tell me why you think it's a Obia church. Because when you use water, I want to play now on basin. So I educate them what the basin is for with the water. So to every time you watch, if you watch, I think every one of us in here at times we see revival because we like the movement and we watch it at times. So if they ask me, why is the basin there with the water? To entertain the angels. When the angel is passing, they trouble the water. Just like the man at the pool, when they were about to get the healing, the angel have to trouble the water first in order for them to get the healing. So water is for healing. If they ask me, what about the Kumina drum? Why do they play the Kumina drum? knowledge teaches that you cannot use a drum set at a Kumina celebration, and it's from generation before us that they have been using the goat skin drum to make rhythms and beats so you can move to it. So I like to educate people. So if anyone wants to see me outside of here and say, explain more about Kumina or explain more about revival, I can do so with my small knowledge that I have. I'm learning from Rastafari. So if somebody say, all right, I saw you with Queen Empress here, what does Naya Bingi or the locks represent? I can tell them because it's also scriptured about the ear. It's in the Bible that the ear is a strength. Samson's ear was his strength. Yes. So everything that we do is in the Bible. So it's for us to study the Bible, and in high school we do get religious education class where we have to study the Bible. So everything that is you're seeing happening in whatever faith, in Rastafari, revival, it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. So
Thank you.
All right, 2 to go. Allow the comments first.
Okay. No. I think he was there before me.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, and before only one panelist, and please try to keep the answer concise but still informative.
All right, greetings everyone. My interest is in the connection between Kumina and revival. Because when I heard that a Kumina practitioner was going to be here, my mind went to St. Thomas. I'm from St. Thomas, the Obia parish as they call it. So I was wondering how the connection between you and Kumina, because I understand that you're from St. Catherine. I heard something about...
Yes, but living in St. Thomas.
Oh, you're living in St. Thomas. Okay, I missed that part of it. So, can you explain to me or a little bit more about that connection between revival and Kumina? Yeah.
Revival and Kumina. Revival now, we do more about praying and fasting and reading the Bible and entertaining the Holy Spirit. But when you transition over to the Kumina side of it, you're going into a different dimension. You're entertaining the ancestral spirit. And the Bible do talk about ancestral spirit. So yes, Kumina is there's a line between worshiping as a revivalist and moving over to the Kumina segment of it. As some people will say you have 60 and 61, which I don't agree to. You have higher heights and you have deeper depths. So yes, you do have higher heights and deeper depths. So for the Kumina segment of it, it will be the deeper depths. So you're not dealing with angels, but you're dealing with ancestral spirits. So the prophets and the people before us, we are invoking them, we are calling to them, we are communicating with them. So they can come to you and say, Brother Harris, W and say, that Queen Empress is sick, and give her the rosemary to drink with some blue in some warm water. Yeah. That's the ancestral spirit speaking. As well as the angel can say to you the same thing. Mm-hmm. But when you're in the language of the Kumina segment, you have to know that it's a different dimension. So you don't invite certain people to a Kumina because they will see some things that they will scare and want to run if they don't ask this question. So that's the difference. In revivalism we do pray and we fasting and everything, but Kumina, different segment. Bubbly and waste and
All right, and now to our very last person.
not recorded it properly in my head, but it had to do with young people and encouraging them into expressions of their spirituality, whether it's revival, community, or whatever it is they choose. One of the things I think it is important for us as elders, as older people, to do is to try to get our young people, and I would dare say even ourselves, because some of us are really in a state of dysfunction, hence the dysfunction of our children. But we have to, those of us who are learning a little thing, start by expressing to our children that spirituality is not an option, because we all come in spiritual, intellectual, physical. We all come in at a minimum, we're all spiritual. There can people say God put a little bit of himself in everything he created. Everything. And therefore we are not here without spirit. Now, of course, there's a story that he hid it inside us so we wouldn't find it. So we are looking all over. But we come in spirit. We come in intellect. We come in physical. And the same way we make plans to expand our mind, our intellect, and to nurture it and grow it and use it to the best of its ability. And we end up in university and with PhDs. And the same way we want to take care of our physicality, and we want to look nice, and we want to well, and we don't want to have any diseases, and we don't want no acne and no pimple on our face. Our spirituality deserves the same, at a minimum. And I would suggest a greater level of care. Because when the mind fails, and when the body, the physicality cannot carry us anymore, it is the spirit that will carry you through any exam. You had a bad night, you didn't sleep well. Call your ancestors, call God, call your spirit. So we have to let them know that this is just a central part of who they are. And then we start worrying about how we guide them into manifesting the choices they make now as to how to manifest the spirit that they are, which we call spirituality.
That needs some stronger applause. And every single one of our panelists here agree to that. I am advised that we have one last comment.
How do you follow after that? Oh.
Somewhere else ago, as I said, I have to hear the young people speak today. It's good to listen sometimes. It was a good session. Just two things I want to say. To my revival daughter over there, never be afraid to use the word African. Europeans came here, Africans came here. And that is why when we call it an Afro-Christian religion, it's a mix of both. And you did very well in giving the mix. But don't be afraid to speak it. I also had a little thing with my youngster from St. Thomas, joining the revival and coming out in the way he did. But then I look at it, the whole spirituality on a continuum, mixed with African and European, and different people are at different places. But most of all, I want to go with Queen Empress there, that you need to read, you need to expand your knowledge. Because if you're going to pass it on, you have to be able to pass it in a way that people can understand and relate to. So today, I'm not going to say much, but I enjoyed the session. But to my revival daughter over there, I didn't have enough to give all of you, I didn't know. I just have one copy in my bag, a book that I did on revivalism, which came out of my thesis. I give the history and so on. So I want to encourage you to read, all of you, to read. Learn about Africa in order to understand it.
Excellent. Thank you.